Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Real Talk, and in this episode, I want to break down the movie. It's the movie Legal Notice called The Devil's Advocate. I wanted to play some clips and stuff, but you know how YouTube is, where they're always throwing copyright stuff, and I just want to avoid all that hassle. I don't really want to get into those hassles. It's unnecessary. But anyway, I'm gonna give a rundown of the flick, and then I'll throw in my commentary as I go, and some of my opinions as I go. So let's get started. Right here, this is the beginning of the movie, and we see down at the bottom of the screen, we see the Keanu Reeves character, and he's going to be the main character of the whole movie. His name is Kevin. He's an attorney, lawyer. Top of the screen, he's trying this case of molestation from a teacher to a student. So the student is up on the witness stand, giving her testimony, and that's her attorney right next to her. Dude on the right, bottom right, is the perv. That dirty mother. Is that pervert dude that molested her. So she's giving her testimony, and they're listening there, and she's telling how he had kept her after school, and that he started putting his hands up her dress and all that stuff, and it was just not nice. So while she's describing everything that happened, and in the school, this perv dude started to get all horny, I guess, or whatever, and then the Kevin character turns around and catches him. So he's looking all stupid there, like, what? So now, after she gave her testimony, it was time for the Kevin character to respond. So instead of responding, he asked for a recess because he needed to go back to the restroom because he was upset that he found out that his client was actually a pervert, was actually a scumbag, preying on little children. So now they're out in the hall because he follows him out in the hallway, and he's just, man, get away from me, man, whatever. But you're my attorney, man, stay out of my face. So he kind of really mad at him, upset. Goes into the bathroom. So he's trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do now? That dude's a pervert. What am I going to do? At the same time, this dude has a perfect law record. He hasn't lost a lawsuit yet. So he's got a perfect record. No losses. Well, when he's in the bathroom, this other dude walks in. He's like a reporter dude or whatever. So he shows up, and he's kind of poking at him, talking about, what you're going to do, whatever. She's talking to him about the case. I need a statement so I can, release the story, but he's kind of poking at him. Then at the end, when he's walking out, he says, well, I guess you can't win them all. And then he's like, nah, So he's walking around there kind of mad because that he's got a loser now because the case he took on, he actually is guilty. But he decides he doesn't want to lose. So when he shows back up into the courtroom, he gets the girl on the witness stand and just grills her. And, through manipulation, which is actually witchcraft, okay? So that's what attorneys do. They manipulate, the stories, and they manipulate the interpretations. Through manipulation, he breaks the girl down on the stand, and she starts crying, and he's making her basically confess that, he makes her out to be a liar, which she's actually telling the truth, but he catches her on other things that she has done, and then he points that out to the jury. So he gets the jury to let dismiss the case against the pervert dude, even though he knew that the pervert dude was real and that she was telling the truth, so he wouldn't lose. So it's a pride thing. That's first deadly sin, pride. So now that the reporter dude sees it, he jumps up. He goes, okay, he actually did it, whatever. Then afterwards they go celebrating, and then you see the 4 glasses. So it's that reporter dude, Kevin, his wife, and some other guy. I think the head guy of the law firm down there in Alabama, or wherever they're at. So now they're partying. They're getting down, with the music, because, he's all happy because he won. He's proud of what he did. His record is good. Doesn't matter that a pervert got away. That's not what counts. What counts is his record. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Meanwhile, on the bottom of the screen, we see a dude that was sitting in the courtroom that was witnessing that whole case. And this vato was from New York. So he hands him his card, and he wants to solicit his services to go to New York to pick a jury for them. At first, he's like, nah, man, this is phony. And then he tries to, make claims that it's not real. Well, the guy on the bottom is saying, nah, man, it's completely real. You and your wife, all expenses paid, help us pick a jury. We're going to pay you no matter what the verdict is. And then he offers him the caveman check. So here, check it out. So at the top, we see, ding, 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 the caveman check, which is what everybody's chasing, right? You got to chase the caveman dough, the check, the money. That's the number one God to everybody, is that money. God is not God. No, heaven forbid. Money's God, which I beg to differ. However, he offered him the caveman check, so he says, nah, this is not real, but then he opens it up, and he's like, whoa, it is real. And he goes, yep. So then he goes and talks to his mom. He's saying, okay, Mom, they're offering me a lot of money to go up to New York and to check out a few things and pick a jury. And then he, says that his wife wants to go, which is not true. It's more him. He's being selfish, but whatever. So he tells his mom that he's leaving. She's against it, but what can she do, So he takes the offer. Then they show up in New York, and as you can see, true to their word, Illuminati, because that's what that dude represents, Illuminati, Satan, all the same thing. Satan, Illuminati, same thing. True to their word, they gave him a baller spread up there on the top of the screen. It's baller, all expenses paid, nice apartment. Not apartment, but a nice suite, the hotel, whatever, overlooking the whole city. Room service, all that good stuff. And it turns out that he winds up going to court, and he deliberates, and he picks the jury, and within 38 minutes, they deliberated, and they found him not guilty on the jury that he picked. I'm good, and then he does the I'm good dance. So he's walking around the apartment, all inflated because he's that good. So now on the bottom of the screen, he shows up at the firm. So now this is the view from the firm window when he walks up to where the law offices are at. And again, it's overlooking the city. It's a spectacular view overlooking the city because they're in their skyscrapers. And this is how they get you. They get you with money. They get you with, the cars and lavishness. And it's just like what we've been saying. Anyway, to continue. And he winds up meeting the Al Pacino character, Milton something or other. It's Al Pacino, Milton Satan character, but he doesn't know he's Satan. But he walks in, he meets him. Then he takes him out on the deck. And starts asking him a bunch of personal questions about the mom and, you grew up, how did you grow up? He tells him he's a Baptist. Did it rub off on you? Did any, church rub off on you? Nah, didn't rub off on me. Can you handle pressure? And then he starts asking him, are we negotiating? Are you offering me a job? Blah, 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 blah. He goes, maybe. I'm thinking about it. But all the while, he's showing him the riches of the world, basically, because he's standing on top of the world. That's a baller stance right there. He's sitting right at the top of that building, which is the penthouse of that one building, with water on top of everything else. There's like a stream. There's like a stream up there. So he negotiates, and then he asks about money. Well, that's the easy part. So then they go and show him, this is where you're going to stay. It's an apartment building, and there's 2 apartments per level. So if there's 2 apartments, then that means those things are giant houses inside of that building in New York City, like sitting way at the top. No, actually, it's the 12th floor, he said, or 12 floors down from the penthouse. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, needless to say, they walk in there and they're like all ecstatic because it's all pretty and nice and this and that. And the wife is all happy. I think her name is Mary. Charlize Theron, I think. Yeah, it's Charlize Theron's character. So they're all happy walking through there, and she's all happy that he's that good, whatever. So they agree. Next thing you know, the first thing they do is give him a health code violation case with this voodoo dude. Okay, right there. They're telling you that voodoo's real. Okay, so let's see what they told us. They said Satan is real. They said voodoo dude is real. Voodoo's real. They're, offering you the world for money and for fame and luxuries and things of the world. That's real. All that stuff is real in the Bible. The Bible's talked about all that, and all of it's real. Well, to continue. He's over there fighting for the voodoo dude, and he's going back and forth, and ultimately he gets him off, showing how he can, handle whatever. He's in New York now, and he gets the voodoo dude off. The bottom of the screen, the Milton character is walking around, looking all poor, not poor, but he's just looking ordinary. He's not all baller, because he's trying to let him know, like, look, man, they don't see me coming. You got to be more, discreet, be the little man, blah, blah, blah. And in this particular scene, he actually states that I don't look like a master of the universe, do I? So he's telling them that so that statement alone signifies that, see, he does have access up there in the space. That's what all that alien junk is about. That's why we're constantly bombarded with aliens and aliens and aliens, because it's Satan. It's satanic. It's not aliens. It's Satan and demons. So he asks him, and he doesn't catch it, and he lets it go by. When he gets home, now they're on their way to the party. This Eddie Barzoon dude, because there's 4 people living in that building that all work at that law firm. The black dude, the Satan dude, the Eddie Barzoon dude with his wife, and and Kevin and Mary, I guess. So they go to the party, and the first thing she tells them before they get in there is, "Don't leave me alone." And what does he do? First thing, he leaves her alone. They get him away from her, and she's there walking around with these chicks. So the Satan character shows up, excuse me, and starts to talk with her. He gets her alone. He gets in her ear. And because he's Satan, he knows exactly what to say, how to flirt, and how to get into your mind. Which goes to show you women that, there's a lot of demons walking around on the earth, and just because a guy looks handsome and gives you attention doesn't always mean that he's on the up and up. I mean, women should know that. I mean, come on, you guys should know that one. There's a lot of one-hitter quitters out there, one-night stands and all that junk. But anyway, getting back to the picture, so he's in there, telling her a bunch of stuff that she actually wants to hear. And he suggests that she cuts her hair. Okay. Meanwhile, up on the top of the thing, this dude is trying to get at this chick that's working at the law firm. I mean, his eyes damn near popped out of his face as soon as he walked in the law firm and saw this chick fighting on the phone. And so she's all She's like the hot chick, because there's always a hot chick. Whenever there's money around, there's always either a hot chick, there's either a hoe or a gigolo hanging around. Whenever there's money, there's always a hooker or a gigolo. It's always a man or a guy waiting to take the money away from you. Anyway, he's up there trying to holler, and Milton walks in and says, hey, man, he tells her to get lost. We got something came up. Go get Eddie Barzuna and those vatos and meet me upstairs. So they went up. He went and got the 4 dudes, and they went upstairs to that Milton dude's penthouse place. And that's what we see on the bottom there. After 3 hours of talking about that case, that triple homicide, he comes home, and the Mary character, she's really mad because he left her hanging. Now, this is where all the problems start, right here, in that one scene, because he broke his promise to her, because he's being selfish. He doesn't really love her. He doesn't really care, but they hide under the guise of I'm earning the money. Well, God commands us God commands you as a man not only to earn the money, but to take care of your property, which is your wife, because she's part of you now. Because when the two are one, they become one flesh. So when you have intercourse, you become one flesh with your spouse there, or with your wife. So it's not only about earning the money. You got to actually take care of your property, and she's your property, and you're her property. That's what all the possession is, and getting mad when you're cheating and all that. That's what breaks all the trust and all that stuff. Bottom of the screen, we see him trying to talk to the McCullough dude that committed the triple homicide. He's here denying it, but he actually did kill those people. But at this part of the movie, he's denying, I didn't do it. So he's trying to convince him, let me defend you. I'm good, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So eventually he agrees. Meanwhile, because this vato ain't never home, because he's always too busy running around with the devil, she's there without a job, so she's, decorating the apartment, because supposedly they have all this money, whatever. And she's running around with the wives of the other guys that are also not home. So none of them are home. They're always at the law firm doing their law junk. Well, when they go checking out dresses. This broad is changing. This is the wife of the black dude that offered him the first check at the beginning of the movie. And she's putting on her thing, and this is what she sees. On the top of the screen is like a demon, which is pretty true. These movies is real. Now, I know people think that, it's just a movie. This is not just a movie. This is real. There's demons. People are demons. You don't know who you're dealing with. I'm going to tell you that right now. And as you can see, there's a demon face on the top part of the screen, and then on the next, you can see the hands going down her whatever. So needless to say, this freaks her out. So she bounces. Then she goes back home and tries to tell the Kevin character, but he ain't having it. You're tripping. You just left him there. So, see, this is what I hate the most. And this happens in every marriage. One of the partners, either the wife or the husband, is trying to tell the other one, look, this and this is going on. And instead of siding with you, then right here, he's supposed to side with her because supposedly he loves her. But instead of siding with her, he sides with the world. He sides with the devils. Because she's trying to tell him, look, man, this and this is going on. I don't like it here. You're always gone. I'm here alone. I know we're supposed to have all this money and stuff, and it's supposed to be fun, but it isn't. And, and he's like not trying to have it. He don't care about what she thinks. He's worried about his career, about what he's doing. He doesn't care what's going on with her, and he just dismisses it like that. She's just tripping. Okay. Bunch of other stuff happens with that McCullough case that I skipped. But anyway, the Milton character winds up getting tickets to a fight. So he tells Kevin, let's go. I got to call Mary. Well, call her on the way. So now that we find ourselves on the actual subway. they're over there talking, but he catches the eye of this dude, and there's like some gangster Vato dudes. He just checks him. He says, "What you looking at? Get off my train!" And I'm gonna cut you. So he scares the crap out of him. And on the bottom, he says, "Maricela, your wife." He tells him in Spanish. And he starts telling him how that she's up there. As soon as you left, the moment you left your apartment, that she was smoking crack, and she was upstairs with Carlos, and they're gonna get high on crack, and they're in the kitchen splitting a jumbo. I don't know what that means, but I guess, whatever, maybe dope or whatever. But they're smoking crack, and then at the end of the day, he's gonna nail her. He's gonna go and clip her on your own bedspread. And, you're over here doing whatever, and your woman is cheating on you with the dude from upstairs. And he scares the living daylights out of this vato because he's speaking in Spanish, and he's telling them personal stuff that he can't possibly know. That's why the dude on the bottom has his expression and his butt and his boy. They both look the same. Like, how does that dude know? I mean, who's this dude anyway? Well, this is the first sign that we see in the movie that he has supernatural powers. He's satanic. And, when people start knowing things that they're not supposed to know, then that the information is coming from somewhere else. So he says, you ain't right. Well, I'm right. And so he winds up leaving. He leaves him alone. Winds up leaving. So after this boxing match, because he's, he's keeping this Kevin Bato, busy. So he's over there flirting with women, and they're sitting eating dinner, and then the chick that's with that Milton dude is under the table doing his cochinadas. And this dude doesn't, whatever. It is what it is. So he's just going with the flow. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, his old lady, his girl, that one he's supposed to love and cherish, and until death do you part, is falling apart over here. She's trying to tell him. She's having all these nightmare dreams, and all this stuff is happening to her, and he ain't having it. He ain't trying to hear her. He ain't hearing her because he don't really love her. He don't care. He says he does, but he's not acting like it. Okay, so she's all, falling apart, and it's not good. Now we step over to the part of the picture where the Eddie Barzun character hits up Kevin, talking about your name is on the charter of the company, and it looks like it's been there for a long time. Well, now that's the first sign that we see that Kevin is the son of this Milton dude, but no one knows it just yet. And here's Illuminati. Illuminati put their pyramid lamp, but since this is a devil movie, it's not a big deal because it's already been saying that there's a devil. So how much more obvious can you be? Anyway, so he goes into this big thing about Eddie Barzun and how men are this, that, and the other, and the world is this, that, and the other, and God is no good, and blah, 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 and a bunch of stuff that I don't really want to repeat. So he's telling Kevin how, whatever, he sent to get the Eddie Barzun character, he sent them to go get him, but what he really sent was the demons to go kill him. Which they did. So right here, so now this shows us that the demons can enter people. So they wind up getting into two homeless people, and they wind up catching up with that Eddie Barzun dude, and they started, they knocked him down and asked for his watch. He kind of gave lip, and then they started beating him. Meanwhile, on the bottom of the picture, she's feeling the fact that all this evilness is going on. She somehow knows that evilness is going on over there, because I guess she has a clear conscience. She's just riding along with the other dude that's doing all the dirty work. So, and she states that she's with him, but he doesn't care about her. So she's falling apart. So she knows this is evilness is going on. And then we see here that the demon is actually inside of the homeless guy, and then they wind up killing that Eddie Barzun Bato on the bottom. So he winds up dying, which really means that, yeah, people do get possessed by these demons. And one, they exist. Two, people do get possessed. And three, they're influencing us 24 hours a day if you're not protected by Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and the angels. I'm telling you, this is real stuff. This is real. I mean, how much more in your face can it be? So after that happens, he goes home and he finds out that his wife is not there because the doorman says that, we tried to stop her, but she was just not feeling, she was just kind of wigging out. And where is she? At the church. So he runs to the church and he, finds out what's going on. Well, he was in court dealing with that triple homicide thing, and that Milton was actually there in court with him, so he thought. Well, she states that, no, he wound up going to the apartment, that he boned her all afternoon. So he was messing with her. He wound up getting at her. And she was alone and hadn't talked to anybody in so long, and she was lonely because he ain't never around. He's not there to tend to her needs and take care of her. She just let it happen. And I didn't show this because it's kind of dirty, but she opens up the blanket thing there, and then it shows where that the devil pretty much messed her all up and scratched her all up. And so now he's just like really freaking out, like, she's really tripped out. So then he decides, well, she's tripped out, so I need to, admit her to the hospital. So now we see her on the gurney there. And this is a really specific scene where she's stating that, I know why this is happening. It's the money. It's blood money. You kept winning all those cases knowing those people were guilty. Okay? That's exactly what lawyers do. See, the lawyer, now I'm going to switch up topics. The lawyer, his first obligation is to the court. A lawyer is a court officer that's tied to the bar. The judge is not even a judge. It's a lawyer with a damn dress on. It's just a fake lawyer. I mean, the fake judge. We hadn't had judges since the 1700s. Anyway, his first obligation is to the court, not to you, the client. What he's going to try to get you to do is to waive all your rights and just admit guilt and throw you under the bus. And get you to go to jail and do all kind of junk that, and they're not there to help you. That's why I'm trying to tell you, man, that you better start learning the law and you better start showing up to work. You are the people. You are the government of the United States. And you need to start exercising those rights. You do whatever you want. I show up to work pretty much every day now. When people come at me, I'm in my U.S. government, the people mode. That's the hat that I have on. I'm the people. How may I help you, public servant? They don't like it, but I don't care. And I get the Bible and I stick it right in her face. Anyway, going back to this. She's saying that all of this evil that has happened to them because, they have the caveman house and the caveman money, but they don't have the caveman lifestyle. See? They had to trade their ramen noodles and happiness down there in Alabama when they were broke for money and being sick and terrible and, and just being all messed up. He thinks he's having a good time because he's two-timing her and his eyeballs are falling out his face, but he ain't having a good time. They're always lying. So now she's admitted to the hospital. She kept telling him not to do it, but he did it anyway because he doesn't believe her. And the mom had come once before, but then she left because she felt that it was all nasty in there. So now we see here that it's Kevin, his wife, the mom, and then that lady standing behind his wife. She's an actual demon lady too. She works at that law firm and she's a demon. Then the mom winds up asking Kevin out in the hallway, so they walk out in the hallway, and then the demon lady winds up getting a mirror trying to, calm her down, and she tries to show her reflection in the mirror, and she doesn't want to. She says she sees demons in the mirror. That coincides with the stars. They don't have any mirrors in their house. They can't have them because the demons are occupying their bodies, their souls. They're taking over their souls because they sold their soul for that money to Satan. You know, they're giving up their good God force for evilness. That's why they're seeing demons in the mirror. So it says, I mean, it's right here, playing his day. Come and get this movie and watch it. You know, unfortunately, I can't play it for you because, you know, YouTube be tripping, funny style. Anyway, so she busts out the mirror and then she actually looks look how pretty you are. So she busts out the mirror and she's okay, but then she sees this demon lady and her face turns into a demon, so she knocks her and hits her in the face with a mirror and it breaks. Now at the bottom, she kicks her out of the room and locks the door. So now she's in the room by herself with the door locked. Then Kevin runs back, tries to get in. He sees that she's in there by herself, and that she grabs this glass, and she's gonna go and kill herself. So he breaks the door down, all frantic, and needless to say, it was too late. She pretty much commits suicide, slits her own throat. So he's all messed up about it. In the meantime, the mom has told him that Milton is his father. So now he comes and he shows up in Milton's office and he hits him up and what's happened between him and Mary. And he said he boned her all day. And he shoots him like 10 times, but he doesn't die. And right there is when he tells him that he's actually Satan. And that's his seed and all that stuff. Turns out that the girl he's been chasing the whole time is his sister. See? Incest. See? Perversions, filthiness, incest, transgender, faggots. I'm sorry using that word, but homosexuals. It's all perversions, all demonic, all of it. And this is what they're trying to get us to agree to. It's demonic. Anyway, so he's in here talking with him, and you know they're going back and forth, and you know I'm going to pass on my legacy to you, blah 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 blah. This is referencing the Antichrist. So right away, whether that's the sister or not, he didn't care because he's been fantasizing about her the whole picture, the whole movie. So he jumps on, you know, right away, jump on her bones. But he understands that if he actually does this, that this is not good, and that he lost everything. And he says, well, you know, I got free will, right? And then the Milton character is looking at him, and then he winds up shooting himself in the head, kills himself. No, and then the other dude, you know, flips out because he didn't go with the plan, so he actually told the devil no, which is a good thing. That resets everything, and it brings him back to the courthouse where he started with that perv school teacher molesting the student. So now he finds himself back in the bathroom, just like it was when all this junk started, right before all this junk started. Then that same vato that's in the world, I guess you got to lose sometime. Well, I guess I got to lose. So then he winds up losing. He gets disbarred, you know, like maybe or whatever, and then it's the end of the picture. At the end of the day, this movie is telling you to your face. If you look at it as entertainment, then that's why it's going over your head. But if you look at it with clear eyes, open eyes, it's telling you exactly that Satan exists, that demons exist, that money will corrupt your life. You know, all this power and stuff, it corrupts you. That's why, you know, chasing money, that's why it is stated in the Bible that the root of all evil, money is the root of all evil. You know, because people that go around chasing money, they're basically chasing the devil, you know. That's why he wasn't worried about when he was, are we negotiating? You know, how much money? Oh, that's easy. See, it's easy for Satan with money because it's worthless. It's not worth nothing. We're dealing with monopoly money, which is a separate topic. You know, that's why you need to know the law. That's why you need to know the Bible. The Bible is the law. Then it would be wise to learn the law, like the law books, like the Constitution and all that, and then all the federal codes, so you know what your public servants can and cannot do. problem is that nobody's showing up to work. Everybody's been absent from work for so long. That's why they're doing whatever the hell they want over there in Washington. Because nobody's holding them accountable. See, and everybody keeps complaining, I have rights. Well, how come we don't show up to work? I show up to work. So when they're calling my phone line over here, I let it be known. This is so-and-so from the bank. You're on a recorded line. This call may be monitored or recorded. And well, this call is being recorded. And my disclaimer is this, ma'am. The entire contents of this conversation will be governed by the Holy Scriptures known as the King James Version of the Bible. You must agree to these terms and conditions. Otherwise, I will exercise my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You need to lay it down. You need to tell these people what time it is. And as soon as you put that Bible in their face, then they know that you know what's up. Because now you're invoking the power of God. Now you got a big giant angel standing all around. You got big giant angels standing all around you here, wherever you're at in America or in the world. And you got big giant angels standing over there on the other side of the phone. And don't think for one second them big giant them demons don't feel them big giant angels standing all around them, because you just invoked the angels through the Bible. I'm telling you guys, you need to start reading that book. Learn your Bibles. Learn the law. Protect yourself. Jesus Christ. Number one. Hello. Almighty God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ. Holy Trinity. That's your only protection. Anyway, I have some stuff that I'm going to put together, and it's going to be law-based. I'm going to make sure that everything is the way that I say it is, because I want to give out good information and not some bogus stuff. So what I'm going to do, man, is I'm going to get that together so I can start producing some more quality videos that actually is going to help my fellow man. Right now, I'm just giving some nonsense videos. Just, you know, it's not nonsense because I'm telling you about Christ. But at the same time, I want to actually give out some quality information that people can actually use. That doesn't mean that what I'm saying now isn't true. It just means that, most people kind of know this, but they don't act upon it because they think that it's not real. Once I get all my ducks in a row, so to speak, I'm going to put on some pretty quality stuff dealing with the law, and some of the stuff is gonna give you guys a chance to figure out that what I'm saying is true, and there are going to be some strategies that you can use to help you out with a bunch of stuff like, dealing with tickets, dealing with mortgages, bank stuff, dealing with all these presentments that you keep getting in the mail, and they're just making your life hard. My life right now is pretty easy because I learned a few tricks, and now they don't bother me at all. Actually, they don't like talking to me. They don't really like talking to me, which is a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hop off this thing. I hope my words here may have helped some of you guys. And just know that every single movie is a legal notice to you. Look at the movie as if it's real. Don't look at it as entertainment or as that it's fake. Look on it. And one of the ways that you can transcribe the movie the way it's talking to you is through the Bible. I'm telling you, read that book. That's the handbook of your life. That'll save you. Lord Jesus Christ died for our sins. Only through him can we get to the Father, and through everlasting life. Well, this is Real Talk. I'm going to go ahead and head out, and I'm going to catch up with you guys